Spore. I was so excited for this game. Well, when I saw the trailers and everything from Maxis, and I thought, well, sure, I mean, it's more or less a kid's game, but I mean, the creative level you could have on creating stuff and all that, it just looked so fun. I mean, kind of a strategy evolving game where you could basically make whatever race or thing or creature or even buildings later that you wanted. And after getting it, installing it, and the first stage, when you're just a tiny little cell and you either choose if you're going to be a vegetarian, a meat eater, or a hybrid. I can't remember the name of it, but that phase was really fun. Either you try to avoid getting killed and just eat the tiny things flying around. I think you did that at least. Or if you were a meat eater, you always try to find the smaller one and avoid the big ones. And when you started playing at that stage, you were just so tiny, and at some points that you would start to see these huge, massive things coming after you. And that was really fun and intriguing, I thought. And then at one point when you came to a certain level or size, so to say, in the evolution of your creature, you get up to the surface and you got to... I can't remember what state it was called, but it's the stage before the tribal stage, I think. Where in the tribal stage you start to, well, literally making buildings and stuff and running around and either destroying your opponent's villages or, well, enslaving them, as I said. You mind control them and force them to ally with yourself. But the stage between that, when you just got out of the water, you got your little nest and you started just continuing gathering stuff to change and evolve your creature. And I had so much fun there. I had so much fun, and not to mention that every time you restarted the game, there would just show up this that it has downloaded over 100 new creatures to your world. What? Say what? And I remember one of the first things I saw after I had turned off the game, went to sleep, went up again. Well, when I woke up, started up the game, and one of the first things I see is a giant cheese doodle walking by, and I'm just sitting there. The fuck? And I instantly got on the phone and called Peter and asked Peter, why is there a cheese doodle walking in my... What? Cheese doodles? What? So that aspect I really enjoyed, because you would never know what you would get, what would show up in your world, and even spacecrafts that would show up, UFOs, X-fighters, God knows what. I once had the Death Star snatch my main character. That was no. That was weird. Suddenly, as the Death Star shows up, beam me up, away. What? And then I got killed. Game over, because I lost my strongest thing I had at the moment there. And then it got to the tribal state at some point when you have gathered enough DNA. I think that's how it worked anyway. You gather DNA, and when you got to a certain level on your DNA meter or scatter or whatever, then you could go to the next evolution. And you went to the tribal state, and you could start, you started building your tiny little villages, putting up some houses, and I think there was a fireplace or something in the middle also. But after that, after that stage, when I got to the next stage, I literally shook my head because it just went to standard nowadays. I mean, I thought it went to like some deformed version of Sims, kinda. Yeah. I mean, suddenly okay, we need to get cars, boats, aircrafts, military things, and wage war against each other like Red Alert or something, and I just... No. And at least at this point you could have kind of big armies going all around the place. So, yeah, it wasn't the worst, no, but still it was kinda enjoyable. But I still just shook my head, because no. I had so much more fun on the other stages. And then after getting past that, we go to space. And this... The first thing I get slammed into my face after I get some tips showing up, I can't remember it, showed up at some places of the screen, and you could do this and you should do that. Oh, okay, so in space, and I zoom out of the map and whoa, this is huge. There's literally thousands, tens of thousands of planets and stuff everywhere. Wow, there's a ton of exploration here. And not even after 1 minute, I suddenly get a threat from another planet with another race saying, pay me a bunch of millions or I kill you. What? I have $5. Okay, so can I pay later? And then he tells me, you can pay later, but then you need to pay me more. Okay, so either I pay you more or you kill me. But I can't pay you, so you will kill me. So I said, no, I don't have the money. Okay, I kill you. And after about 4 or 5 minutes, I was dead. And I thought to myself, a kid's game, huh? I mean, damn. That's kind of harsh against the kids. I mean, I rant now and then about going old school and balls to the wall on other games that are more orientated to older players or old gamers, but yeah. And I think it was at that point that the game was kinda set for me, at least on the different stages. I loved the first stage when you just evolved and swam around and collected DNA and ate stuff. And then the second stage when you just got out of water, I loved that. And the tribal state, yeah. But I still enjoyed myself. It's just fun building up villages and having the trade routes and everything between them. But the thing that, all in all in it, that was the thing I was looking forward the most was creating my own characters, my own creations. I literally just bought the game just because of that creation editor there, where you could, as they said, create whatever you want and unlimited possibilities. And at first I made a very simple crab just to test it out. And then I thought, okay, now I'm gonna make a scorpion. And I had gotten a framed dead scorpion. So I took that and I looked on it and I kept creating each and every part that I saw. And after I had done the body, the tail, and 3 legs, then it came up, you can't create more. What? But what? Okay, do I need to collect more DNA to do more, or? No, you literally could not create more. There was a limit to how much you could do. And that annoyed the hell out of me. It annoyed the hell out of me so much. Because I just wanted to sit and create stuff and make really good looking thingies. And really involved and intricate things. And sure, I mean, there were plenty of... There was some... I think it was Korean, I can't quite remember. He made Ragnaros. He made a ton of StarCraft Terran things. And they looked really good, but when we asked him and a bunch of other people why they didn't do this and that on, and they missed some of the details, they said that, well, we would if we could, but there's a limit, so we have to skip a bunch of things. And well, but again, it's a kid's game, so yeah. Maybe it's just too much to ask to get that much out of the game, but still, Spore, that frustrated the hell out of me. But in the end, even though I was so frustrated over that, I kept on playing. I made other things then instead that didn't require as much, well, as many tiny things, but you could still make something fun out of it. But in the space stage, I thought then, after being at, well, how do you say, our time, the state in time we're in now, the 19th and 20th century, that after playing in that state and going into space, I thought that, okay, we're going to see huge space battles now. There's going to be spaceships all over, defense cannons and all that on the planet. No, there was 4 cannons, I believe, on each little town or city, and the normal enemies, that were the pirates, they could just go onto the planet and the cannons could hardly stop them. There would always be destroyed cannons, and they don't fix it by themselves. You need to go back there and fix, and sometimes you would be on the other side of the galaxy, and getting back in time could not always be that easy. And at some point you would notice that, okay, I have my main ship that I have created, and I can get 4 other tiny ships, one representative, one, yeah, exactly. One, you could get 4 other tiny ships, one from 4 different races, that would represent the alliance you had, and they could send a ship to aid you. And then I thought, okay, I'll get more. No, you can't. That's it. 1 main ship, 4 tiny ships, and that would be it. Yeah. So I can't quite understand this. How can we go from having tanks and boats and aircrafts flying all over the place, having battles, and then suddenly we get into space and we only have 5 ships and they're always together, and at some point there will be battles showing up all over the place, and when the Groks attack, I think that was their name at least, the main antagonist in space, because they completely control the center of the universe, or at least that space, that part of space or that universe there. And they would just attack all over the place, and if you did not have your fleet near there so you could drive them back, that place was screwed. They would die and get completely destroyed. And I just couldn't understand why. Why put in an enemy that's so strong, that destroys all the towers like nothing, and you could have, was it maybe 1 or 2 defensive planes flying around on the planet? But they would get completely destroyed also, because the Groks were so strong, they had so much health, and they did so much damage, and there were many of them coming each and every time. And I just couldn't understand why. I mean, this is supposed to be the end of the game. This is the phase where you will be, well, staying, doing all the things. So why can't we have vast armies, or at least more than 5? No, that kind of boggled my mind, really. Also, when starting trade routes, you could have different spices from different planets, and you could put up trade routes between them to collect all the resources back to you, but you could only have 4 trade routes, and that boggled me a bit also, because why can't I set up more, well, let's say trading planets that would collect that would have 4 to 5 resource routes or trading routes connected to them, so each and every trading planet could have 4 to 5 trading routes themselves, and then they, between the main trading planets, they could be connected to send all the resources back to your main planet. But no, nothing like that. But again, for all I know, it's a kid's game. Yeah. So yeah, Spore. I had a lot of fun with the creation of the characters and the creatures. I think I still have the creatures saved on my other computer here. I think I still have it. But ultimately, it fell a bit short. So, what do you think, people? Did you ever play Spore? Did you ever play it? Were you happy? Disappointed? Just leave a comment below. See what you thought about it. Until next time, people. Whoop.